Are all cops bastards? I would say no. Of course not. They're not all bastards. But that concession really doesn't matter much, or it shouldn't, right? Any group you can think of in history, any large organized group that perpetrated some kind of systemic wrong over time, whether or not every member of that group was themselves discreetly, individually a bastard doesn't really matter much to how history judges these things. To go right to the most extreme example, not every Nazi was a bastard. Not every member of the Confederate Army was a bastard, or an example a little closer to what we're dealing with now, not every member of Mussolini's military police was a bastard. Plenty of these men, in fact, maybe even most of these men, were average Joes just trying to do their best and keep their families fed and safe during a trying time. But that doesn't matter. Or at least it doesn't matter in the broader social context of talking about what is wrong and what needs to change to make society better, to fix the grievance. What matters is whether or not the group as a whole has been perpetrating something that is indefensible. And if they have, then any member of that group who is not actively working from within to change that, to fix that, is themselves part of the problem. Maybe not as big a part of the problem as the actual bastards, but they're still part of the problem. Now, some hypothetical cop who has spent years of his career putting his neck on the line, combating the toxic culture within his own department, who calls it out when he sees his coworkers acting this way, who brings it to the attention of his superior, who goes to the local press when his superior refuses to act on it, that cop is not a bastard. That cop is a hero. They were trying to fix this before it got this bad. But that hypothetical cop, well, there aren't too many of those around, are there? Now, most cops, most of the non-bastard ones, they sort of turn a blind eye, or at least try not to think about it too much, even though they're working alongside every day people who they know are just itching for an excuse to rough somebody up and use extra force and feel like a badass, or who, in their private life, away from the public eye, say and do a lot of racist things. These officers who exist in this culture and do not do anything about it, I don't know if they're bastards, but they're sure as hell not heroes. And what they might be is cowards, because they are part of what has allowed the problem to get this bad. So are all cops bastards? No, of course not. But if a group that you are part of is routinely doing indefensible things, then it becomes on you to actively and clearly stand out separate and against that. And not just with your words, but with your actions, to actually put something on the line to make the change. And if you don't, then you're going to be lumped in with this system that you've been a part of and have not worked to change, and you kind of deserve to be. If masses of cops all over the country had been passionately prosecuting and punishing and preventing and working against the bullies and the racists and the narcissists and the authoritarians within their own departments for all of these years, well, then ACAB wouldn't be a thing. But they haven't been doing that, have they? And so it is a thing.